What if everyone in the room claimed something clearly false, and they looked at you, waiting for you to agree? Would you tell the truth, or would you go along with the lie, just to avoid being the only one? This isn't science fiction, it's a real experiment, and what it revealed about us is more relevant now than ever, because in the end, it's not logic that controls us. It's fear, not fear of pain or punishment, but fear of being alone in what we see. A simple test. Solomon Asch, a psychologist at Swarthmore College, creates an experiment to test a question that's haunted philosophers for centuries. Do people believe what they believe, or do they just follow the group? To test this, he brings in volunteers for what looks like a vision test. 8 people sit in a room, looking at cards with lines of different lengths. They're asked to choose which line matches the reference line. It's obvious. It's easy. But only one person in that room is a real participant. The other 7? Actors. And those actors are told to unanimously give the wrong answer, on purpose. When truth feels wrong. At first, the group gives the correct answer. Everything seems fine. But a few questions in, something changes. The actors all agree on a clearly incorrect line. Line A, they say, even though line C is clearly the match. Now it's your turn. You look at the lines. You know it's C, but everyone else just said A. You hesitate. Are they seeing something you're not? Do you challenge them, or do you play along? This is where the test truly begins, and this is where most people fail. The shocking results. Over dozens of trials, Asch sees the same thing again and again. 75% of participants conform at least once. They give an answer they know is wrong, just to match the group. Not because they suddenly believe it, but because the discomfort of standing out is too great. Even more striking, when just one other person in the room gives the right answer. Conformity drops dramatically. It doesn't take a revolution, just one voice. One person to say, "I don't see what you see." And that changes everything. The real lesson. Asch's experiment wasn't about lines. It was about something deeper. The invisible weight of group pressure. We like to believe we're independent thinkers, that we follow facts, that we would speak up. But in reality, most of us would rather feel safe than be right. Not because we're weak, but because our brains are wired for connection. Thousands of years ago, standing alone meant danger. Today, it means criticism, mockery, isolation. Different consequences, same instinct. Fast forward to today. Now fast forward to the present. You're not in a lab. You're online, scrolling, reading, reacting. There's a trending opinion, a belief that everyone seems to share. It's in your feed, it's in the comments, it's even on your Explore page. But something about it feels off. You want to say something, but you pause. You ask yourself, what if I'm the only one? What if I get attacked? What if I lose friends over this? So, like millions of others, you stay silent. Not because you believe, but because you're afraid to be alone in disagreement. The digital experiment. In 2020, a research team conducted a digital version of Asch's test. They published an article online, full of factual errors, fake quotes, and logical holes. But they boosted it artificially, giving it fake likes, shares, and comments. And something strange happened. Readers who saw the boosted version were far more likely to believe it. Not because the article made sense, but because it seemed popular. The illusion of consensus became stronger than the truth. This wasn't an accident. It was measurable, repeatable, real, and it confirmed what Asch had shown decades earlier. People often care more about agreement than accuracy. The cost of silence. So what happens when millions of people feel what you feel, but choose not to speak? The illusion wins. The group appears unified. The narrative becomes dominant. The truth becomes irrelevant, and everyone thinks they're alone in their doubt. We've seen this during elections across the world, not in one country, not in one ideology, everywhere. People vote, speak, and post based not on belief, but on social pressure. The question isn't, is this true anymore? It's, will I be attacked if I say it? And the silence grows. The invisible cage. The most dangerous part? You might not even notice it happening. You slowly adjust your tone. You change how you phrase things. You avoid topics, not because they don't matter, but because they make people uncomfortable. And little by little, you start censoring yourself before anyone else does. That's not freedom, that's conditioning. And it creates a world where only the loudest, most confident voices get heard, even if they're wrong. A moment to imagine. Now imagine this. You're in a meeting, and someone says something completely false, confidently. You look around. People nod. Some stay quiet. No one corrects them. You feel that heat in your chest, that instinct to speak, but also that pull to stay silent. You wait. Maybe someone else will say something. No one does. And in that moment, the lie becomes truth, by default. The power of one voice. But Asch proved that it only takes one voice to break the illusion. When a single person in the group gave the correct answer, others followed. Not all at once, not immediately. But the spell broke. Suddenly, the real became visible again. The tension cracked. It didn't take an expert. It didn't take charisma. It just took someone willing to go first. And sometimes, that's all it takes to make everyone else feel less alone. Your turn. So now it's your turn. Not in an experiment, not in a lab, in real life, every day. What are you choosing not to say? Because you're afraid you'll be the only one who says it. What truth have you buried, not because it's wrong, but because it's unpopular? And how many others are waiting for someone, anyone, to speak first? Maybe they're waiting for you. The real danger. The truth doesn't vanish all at once. It erodes quietly, with every silence, every swallowed thought, every deleted comment. History doesn't always fall through violence. Sometimes, it crumbles in whispers. When people stop speaking, not because they're wrong, but because they're afraid to be alone. We don't lose arguments, we lose reality. And once that slips, everything else goes with it. Freedom, integrity, even memory. If this made you think, if even part of you whispered, "I've felt that," then this message is for you. Speak your truth. Even if you say it gently. Even if you say it quietly. Even if you say it alone. Because truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be said. And sometimes, the one who changes everything isn't the one who's right. It's the one who goes first. Subscribe to History Untold Files for more stories like this one. Not the ones everyone already knows, but the ones that echo because they still live inside us.